Okay, you ready?
Yes, of course.
Okay, it's recording right now. And this is Bobby.
Hey. And
This is Lexi. It's almost like plexiglass or lexiglass or Lexi, plexi. Okay, and this is Issa, who's filling out. She used to be a string bean, and now she's getting a figure.
Look at like filling out.
Okay.
So anyway, Joni lives here, and she's my sister. We both were raised here. It was right about here that we had an argument about something, and I hummed a fudgesicle across the room, hit her in the lip, and her lip swelled up about this big.
And I was all dressed to go and sit on a Cadillac in a parade as Miss Manatee or Miss Florida or something. And when
No, it was DeSoto.
I had to open the door. No, I had to
It was
open
the
door.
DeSoto competition.
That thing just...
No, it was the DeSoto, remember?
I have back to time. So long ago.
Walk into all this craziness.
But you know what? You know what it was?
What?
Is she was like in Ben-Hur, the lepers, who were like, looking around the corner and wouldn't come out because they were lepers. She was looking out the door at the guy who was there, gonna take her to the contest. Yes.
Of course, I didn't want anyone to see it.
So anyway, but that was one of my finest moments. Good shot with a
Here, let me
fudgesicle.
get you in it.
Okay, now look, you just have to be careful now. I know you're
Here's the
experienced, but don't
photographer.
press any
She
buttons
knows
that
all
you don't know
about
what you're doing.
All right.
It's a little teeny thing,
It
isn't
is very small. Here's Tommy.
And you know what that is? You know what that is?
Huh.
Tom, you're up
4K.
there.
It's shooting right now, so you don't have to press anything. You
Wow.
just have to try not to press anything.
Very cool. Here's Mamita.
And it was 50
And
years
Bobby.
ago. It was
And
50
Bobby.
years ago that Lars Bergström had his
Isabella.
first camera, video camera that I had seen. And then he would give it to me, and I would, he would be filming most of the time, but he would hand it to me and say, here. And so I've had video cameras ever since. Can you believe that's 50 years of doing this?
It's great.
And you know what you have to do?
55 years.
You have to try to keep your hands steady. You know what I mean? 'Cause
She's a photography major.
well, then you know that you need to keep your hands steady. But these new cameras have the stabilization and stuff. But this is a Sony RX100 Model 7. So it was like for the last 5 years, it's been like the little camera.
Well, it's cute. They're so small, you can just put them in your pocket and...
So what are you going to do? Just walk us through what you're going to do in the next...
Lexi's sister's waiting for us in the car right now.
Oh, well, then you better go.
Yeah.
So, Lexi, you're great, and you've been here?
My sister came, and they're going to drive together up to New York.
Wow.
And they're going to drop Isabella in Orlando at Jake's house.
Right.
Her boyfriend Jake. And then Issa and Jake are going to drive up together. So 2 cars are going to New York.
Well, that sounds great. I hope you have a safe and wonderful time.
Thank you.
And do well in school. Are you a senior also, or no?
Yeah, we're roommates. We go to school
We're
the same
roommates,
way.
same major,
Yeah.
same year.
Yeah, that's good.
And Isabella gets the prize of the family
For what?
for loving Florida.
Well, good. Well, what about us?
Well, we love it.
We've
But I
been
mean,
through
that's
here.
the
You know how many
time
red
it's
tides we've been through and how many high tides?
Well,
And
obviously, all 3 of us live here, so that's testimony that we love it, but there are members of the
And
family.
Bobby is a hurricane survivor. We're all hurricane. Bobby's house.
Gone.
Bobby's house, she bought a new house. She bought a used house, but a nice house. And she was going to move into it. She had all of her furniture moved into the house.
She had just set it up to move in, gotten it just the way. I bet you cry when you think
Were
of it.
you there when the hurricane came, or was it evacuated?
So I'm trying to tell you the story.
And then I went. Go ahead.
So-
Tell the story.
They always show one house when there's a hurricane that comes, the most damaged house, and Bobby got the award for the most damaged house. And I said, Bobby, what happened to all your
Certificate,
So-
a passport, anything
talked
in my
about
life.
this a
My
lot.
paintings that I done in my life, they were all burned. So between the two of us, yeah, definitely.
Don't stay near us very long.
Yeah.
But like, it's funny, you get over it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
really
you
do.
move on, it's all right.
I mean, it's-
You're almost
I mean, you still
glad,
have
you
your
say, well, I
health, you
didn't
still
need all
have,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It
Yeah.
really is.
It's,
But
things are things.
every now and then I have a feeling of something that I don't like and I don't understand it, and then I know where that comes from. But not very often. You kind of bury these things. So, but the mind isn't amazing.
But we went through the whole thing with Bobby, just kind of, I went down there after the storm, and she had decided that she was going to sell her lot to someone else, that she just didn't want to.
No, but first she
Whoa,
had
wait a
actually
minute.
gone and found a prefab house
Yes.
to put back on the lot. She
Right.
had worked with designers
We
to
designed
design the
it, and it
house.
was all set.
And it was all ready to be moved in, and then she just woke up one morning and said,
Why am I doing
that's
this?
it, why am I doing this?
On to
I
the
don't want
next.
to. I mean, this is it, I'm gonna sell the lot.
It was a mess.
But I was there with her just after the payloader, the bulldozer had come and just leveled so she went from owning a house and having it furnished and everything to having no house. Now, Lexi, I want you to do me a favor. You're into cameras, right? Just come here. I want you to come here and hold this.
And then her sister.
And just come it, and it's zoomed in a little bit, so it's going to magnify motion.
I know.
Now, I want you to just feel that. What do you feel? It's getting warm, isn't it?
Yeah.
And these cameras get known to be so hot you can almost not hold them.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound like a good.
And it's worse when it zooms.
It's zoomed in, yeah. I mean, does it say
Question.
record right now? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, good. Well, get me. I'll get over
I
here.
hear it beeping. Is something on?
What?
No,
You hear that beeping?
It could be the camera beeping because it's getting hot. Let's see.
just look in the kitchen.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yep.
So anyway, well, isn't this good? Look at this. I'm
No, it's
a
not.
rose between all these thorns. I'm surrounded with all these women, and I'm just like
Well,
little Richard, you know.
Spent a
I'm just-
lifetime together, and we're still very close.
so you know how to zoom in and zoom out, right?
It's zoomed out right now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, they have to go.
Well, we'll be back in like an hour if you're still here.
Yeah, well, that's it. I thought did you turn it off?
No.
Okay, it's still recording.
If you want
But you see, did you feel the heat?
something.
Yeah.
And it just sometimes just gets hot. Okay, well, have a safe trip, Lexi. Good to see
And
you.
then
Good
we're
luck
gonna
with
stay
your
the night in
photography.
Orlando for one night to cut off a few hours, and then we're gonna make the trip back up. She's driving back with her sister, and I'm driving back with Jake. And
And Jake also is in school up
he
there.
lives in Orlando, but he goes to a Cornell in Ithaca.
Yeah, that's good.
So we're like have the same.
Well, you know,
visit.
before you girls go, I'm going to give you the secret to life.
Okay.
What?
You take whatever you're interested in, and you just do it until you can care less about it, and then you move on to another thing. So whatever it is, photography, you do it, you take 1,000,000 pictures, you get sick of it, and
Find
you're
something
done with it.
Well, you just get good at several things.
Yeah.
Have several interests.
Over time
That's
you
the
do.
secret. Yeah, several.
One thing
interests
leads
are
to
good.
the other.
So that's not the secret to life, that is life.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I'll see you
Bye,
two
girls.
later,
Well,
and if you're
I'll-
still
I'll
here,
say, yeah, I'll
okay.
go.
Bye.
Don't go!
We're hungry.
Don't go! You're hungry. I had this food sitting right
Her
here.
sister's waiting for
Not quite
us.
enough for 3.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm so bad.
Look at it.
Well, there you go. Well, here, you can look at it, and you can look at Joni. Just hold it.
Let me see, Joan.
Yeah.
Oh, it is getting hot. There's Joni.
You see what I mean? You can
Yeah.
feel it.
You
feel it.
can. There you.
Here we all are. This is a celebration
Are
of
you
us
is
still
it
being
filming?
here.
No, am I into filming?
I said, is it filming now?
Yes, it
then?
is.
Oh, it is still
Yeah, it
filming.
is.
I see.
So you can film me.
Well,
and-
it's such a wonderful occasion to have Bobby with us.
This is fun.
We love it.
There you go. Well, here we are, and we're all survived up to this point. So after this, we really
Yeah,
tomorrow
is another tomorrow.
So far,
Tomorrow and tomorrow. And
so
tomorrow.
good.
Creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of a born to die. All
Very
our
good.
yesterdays, the blighted fools, away to dusty death. Out, out, free candle, life is just a passing shadow. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, and singing for nothing.
That you can
I know
remember it all.
thing. That's not the only thing I can remember. So,
Well,
So now what?
there you go. That's it. I'm turning it off. We got okay right now. So this is Bobby. This is my cousin Barbara Hayo.
That's right.
And she was has been my cousin for a long time, and she's close to Joni and Michael's age, but she lives in Sarasota now. She has a son here and his wife and a grandchild, Kyle, and then she has another son, Eric, that lives up in Clearwater. He's still with the police department, right? And so Bobby has moved here. She had a house that she was going to live in the Keys, and Hurricane, what was it? Irma
Unforgettable Irma.
blew her house away. Like it was like in the Wizard of Oz or something, you know? But it just came and blew it away, and her house was the one that was featured on all of the newscasts showing the damage, and a tornado hit it. So this is Bobby, and I'm going to let Bobby tell you a little bit about herself, and then I have 3 questions that Bobby has written, and I'm going to ask those questions, but I'm going to let her just say something about herself and about life and what's going on.
Well, everything in your questions is going to be about life and what's going on. So I may as well start it so you don't have to answer, write or read the first question. As I've gotten older, first of all, I think I'm 49. And it annoys my 2 sons, who are now 49 and one is 50 some odd, that I insist on being 49.
It's a miracle.
But it is a miracle. But I do so for a reason. I'm actually, I think, 76, but I've lost track of all of that.
So you're almost Joni's age.
Joni is a year younger than I am.
Wow.
Yeah. She'll be 76, I think, and I'll be 77 in November. We're just a couple of days apart.
So we came from a big family. My father had 6 brothers.
7.
No,
He would
6.
be number. Yeah, he would be number 7.
Right, and then he had 3 sisters. So there were 10 children, and one of my aunts, Kate, would say that when they were kids at their dinner table, they would have oftentimes a dozen people. I said, Kate, you didn't even have to have company to have a dozen people. So they were close, and Bill was the youngest, and
Bill was my father, but he was really to us.
Herb.
He was Herb, but it gets complicated. It was a complicated family because there were about 4 who had the first name Herb,
Including the father,
including the father.
who was the Reverend Herbert.
Yes. So nonetheless, I think the one I called HR, who was the oldest son, he took the name Herb. So Daddy, my father, who was the youngest, was called Bill, but I never knew he was Bill because I always thought he was Herb.
And then actually Herb, the older Herb, some people called him Rawl.
Yes. My father called him HR.
But we were all close, so as we were kids growing up, we saw each other often, and Bobby has a brother, and the brother Alex is my age, so he's just turned 70 this year. I'm turning 70. So, and Bobby's here for a visit, and I'm going to just ask a question here.
Okay.
At this point in your life, what are you passionate about?
Aging. But not just aging in how I age or why I believe I'm 49. There's a reason for that. is the way people, particularly in this country, treat people, particularly women, as they age. And I've seen it over and over. I have a blog that I write. It's called, the first one was called Aging Through the Looking Glass, and then nobody knew what that meant. So I changed the name Aging Against the Grain, and still people don't know what that means. But it's how to recognize what I call ageism and the impact it has on us as women. I can't speak for men because I can only see it from a woman's perspective, but I try to make people aware of when they're marginalizing people as they age, and you see it all.
Okay, so this is just this little camera is acting up, so we're just trying it again.
It's gotten too hot.
Maybe it did. So anyway, so then you've written a book. Mm-hmm. You helped write a book about Harry Truman, right?
That's right. I think one thing about as you do age, you start out you start out in a career very young, and then you learn different things from there, and you have opportunities to do other things. So you take what you've learned and you apply it to the next thing in your life, and it's quite an adventure, and I think that all of us should approach life that way. There's never an end to doing something different and doing something new, but using all the skills you had. So I found myself in Key West, and I worked for a company that had the Truman Little White House, and I worked there for them a while, and in the process I learned a lot about it and ended up co-authoring a book about the Truman Little White House, the years that Truman lived there. And it was really interesting for me. I'd never given it much thought. The person I worked with was the executive director. His name is Bob Wolfs, and he has an amazing knowledge and it was an amazing resource for information. So he gave me all the information he had, and then I wrote the book, is the way we collaborated on it.
So, and that book's available at the Little White House in Key West.
You can find it online also.
So, okay, so I'm going to go on to another question because I promised you this would be short.
It's getting to be long.
So why do I feel that way? What am I passionate about? And why do I feel that way? So,
and I think I've covered that because I notice how older people are marginalized to the point that they kind of retreat into their own self. I believe that one, as one ages, needs to have friends and be around people of all ages. I think that's very important. I have found I've learned so much from younger people to see their view of the world and their view as it is, because sometimes as we get older we get sort of frozen in a certain space. So, and that is almost expected, but I don't allow that to happen, and as a result I have, particularly this 30-something age group, particularly women, I have as close friends, and we have wonderful conversations.
well, you just finished taking a trip with Kyle, who's
Yes.
10 years old. So
Yes.
that must have been a melding of the minds or a
Yes.
meeting of the minds.
Kyle is my grandson, and he's 10, and he is one of the most interesting people I've met in a long time. He knows a lot. He's a very, not only is he loving and knowledgeable, but he's also a very positive person, and I believe so strongly in positiveness and making people feel good about themselves and feel positive about things, and Kyle has that. So we recently we have what we call Camp Bella. He calls me Bella, hence Camp Bella. We do it every summer for, this time it was a week. This is our 4th year, and we spent it in the Keys, and the Keys were home to me until I lost the house.
Well, you were in the Keys for about how long? I remember
5 years.
I remember you lived in Coconut Grove, which isn't that far from the Keys, but when did you actually move to the Keys?
And we moved to the Keys in 1993.
I remember picking avocados in your yard in Coconut
Miami.
Grove. Yeah, Miami.
Yeah, it was. Our house was in an avocado grove. So it was about an acre. So we had more than we could do anything with. And we had avocados and 2 mango trees. We couldn't give the avocado away. We take them to work. We put them on the street. We do anything, but we had so many.
Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the last one
Okay,
because we
Bridget.
said we're going to keep it short. So why do you travel so much?
Tommy will tell you that I'm always on the move. And I have a friend who is an artist and also a musician. And in one of the lyrics that he wrote for some music he was doing, he said he took from me, and it's called Moving to Stop Moving.